conversation before we start our meeting? Yeah. All right, so we'll move to agenda approval. We have several motions and resolutions to go through this evening. Any changes to the agenda as presented? No changes. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Schmidt.
Second.
Second by Hennen to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Moving to some future events, please check the district calendar and resource guide or the district website for a complete list of monthly events. Tuesday, May 21st, retirement reception at 4 p.m. at Banquets of Minnesota. Monday, May 27th, no school for students and staff, and the district service center is closed. Tuesday, May 28th, school board work session at 6 p.m. Tuesday, June 4th, high school graduation at 7 p.m. at Aldrich Arena. Thursday, June 6th, last day of school. And Tuesday, June 11th, school board regular meeting at 7 p.m. with communication to the board and administration at 6:45 p.m. Moving on to consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Forsberg,
Second.
second by McCollum, to approve the following items of the consent agenda. Minutes of the April 9, 2024 school board regular meeting and April 25th, 2024 special meeting. Bills paid for March 2024 in the following amount of $4,147,190. Personnel items and school resource officer contract. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to discussion, reports, and information items. Communications and connections. Increase the connection, engagement, and support of our families and communities. Deepen family communication and connections project update. Erica Teibel, welcome.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I was just thinking, you were some of the first people I saw this morning, and now it feels right that we're ending the day together, full circle, and how remarkable it is that we have board members who give of their time and to serve breakfast to our staff at every single building, so thank you for that. Tonight, I have a brief update on the project Deepen Family Communications and Connections. It's been a few months, so here I'm back. Just a reminder on the why of this project. We had a similar project on our district operational plan last year. We made some really great progress, really focused on strengthening the connection between school and home to support student success and engagement. About this time last year, as we were assessing where we were at, we identified 4 areas that we really wanted to focus on and deepen for this school year. So the project had 4 achievement points. Those first 2, we've talked about a lot. So I'm not going to go in depth on those this evening. We continue to work our year-long communications plans at the schools. And of course, we did a lot of work around competency-based learning at grades K-6. The last 2 achievement points I do want to update you on tonight because we have some fun data to share. The first is around exploring and making a decision about adding a 2-way texting tool to our district toolbox, and then implementing rounding with families using a tool called POSIP. So first, I'm going to cover the 2-way texting. Just as context, going into this year, we've had the ability to text in one direction for many years. And we do that with the weekly school newsletter, with weather announcements, with event reminders and things like that. We have increased our use of text over the last few years just because we're all on our phones all the time, and we've had really positive feedback about that. But we haven't been able to do is have a tool that individuals can use to text with families back and forth that isn't a personal device, right? So we were looking at different options for that. What might make sense for us. So we made the decision in early last fall to move forward with an enterprise pilot of a tool called Talking Points. So it's a 2-way texting tool that also supports real-time language translation. So for us, that was part of the thing we were really looking for. So we had watched a few other districts roll out the tool, and decided to take a really intentional and focused approach. We were really clear from the get-go that we didn't want this to be used for like classroom announcements or school-wide, you know, plant sale kind of communications. We really wanted it to support, you know, direct communications with parents and guardians about their student and what's going on with them. So we started with attendance, and that tied to our DOP project around student absences. So every attendance office, it had a lead that's been engaged with that this year. And I want to shout out Abby Pierce, who's our lead social worker, who has really worked really closely with that group of folks. And then our nurses in the health office, which was really helpful around required immunizations. And then specific teacher groups, including AIM and ALT. And then we did scale it to the entire high school just after spring break. And the focus for that was really, how do we try to avoid the spring slump, right? And address consistent tardies and absences so that teachers would have a tool to communicate with mom and dad, I haven't seen your student in 3 days. Is there something we can do? Can I help? That kind of thing. So, so far the results have been extremely positive. Our attendance teams are reporting back to us that they're hearing from people they've never heard from before, like people that would have just had an unexcused absence without a reason. We're getting a lot more reasons back, which is helping us identify ways we can help support some of those families differently. And then teachers are using it, they started using it for tardies. We're starting to see other things like specific questions and learning progress. And there's one example of a teacher after having a communication with a parent, the student returned to class and the teacher texted and said, it was so great to see so-and-so today. So there's some really positive things happening. My favorite story from Matthew and Megan a few weeks ago is the student who had been consistently tardy, and at the beginning of the class, the teacher was sending a quick text message home just saying, your student's been like tardy 4 times this week. And literally the student came running into the classroom like 2 minutes later. So it's encouraging to hear some of those stories and actually like working together to help support success in the learning environment. So right now, we're thinking that we're going to continue on with talking points. We're working through what exactly the next steps look like, but looking to scale that to additional schools next fall. And then family rounding using POSIP. For years, Spring Lake Park Schools has done rounding with staff on a monthly basis, asking a set of 4 standard questions, but we really didn't have a good way to do that with families. So this was a way we could try that out. And we were also hoping, and it's worked out, that there's no great way to receive or get positive feedback, right? And so it has prompted a lot of really positive comments as well. So we've been rounding monthly with families via text and email. 3 standard questions every month with the option for a bonus question. And you can do that by school, or we've done district-wide as well. So if there's a specific topic you want input on, we've been successful in that. Like Colleen used it for community education input 1 month, things like that. So far this year, we have 1 more pulse check left. We've heard from nearly 4,000 unique voices. That's a cumulative response rate of about 55%. And if you think about it, a lot of students have more than 1 contact. So it's possible you could be hearing from both 2 parents and guardians during that texting cycle. So 4,000, we're feeling really encouraged by that. And then this is another tool that supports language translation, and the language support has helped us hear from more families than ever. We're really feeling good about the breakdown of the languages just because we think they more accurately reflect our population. So 82% in English, over 10% in Spanish, 2% in Arabic. And you see the other numbers there, and there are so many more languages underneath that have like 0.5%. But people are using that language feature, and we're hearing those comments. So we've received 1,628 praise comments and 1,931 feedback comments. Just a note about feedback, it runs the gamut from the very serious concern to will you please look at the drop-off process, or I wish this. I just want you to understand like the levels of feedback. Families do have the choice to share their name or remain anonymous. Kelly Stewart has been a fantastic partner with me in this work, and I just can't say enough about her. We recently rounded with every principal around this tool, and they were very supportive of it. I think the one point of frustration is when people choose to remain anonymous, and then they leave a comment and there's just no way to get more information. So if there's anything I would love the public to hear is just to encourage to share your name, because there is a desire to really understand any concerns and follow up on those. And I can assure everyone everything is read, and they have strong processes around feedback and sharing the praise. So with feedback, if there is a name and there's a follow-up required, that is happening pretty consistently. And then with praise, they're sharing the comments and staff updates, using them for thank you notes. And then, as many of you have seen at staff appreciation events, we've been pulling them out of the digital universe and papering the wall with comments from families, and it's really fun to see staff interact with that. So again, we're planning to continue with some refinements based on what we've learned, and we don't know what that looks like yet. We're still working through that. And here is a picture of the Westwood wall. And you can see, like, there were just a lot of comments, and that's not even all of the comments. But it's been fun to watch people interact. So what's next? Well, each year we're working on improving each year and deepening our practices in communication. It's life's work, right? And we're always getting better, and I'm confident we'll continue to get better in 2024 and 2025. We've focused for the last few years on district, school, and classroom. So when I say classroom, I mean, are you getting a weekly preview of what's happening? You know, that weekly kind of touch point. And so that's improved, and we want to continue to make this more standard work where it's just, you don't have to think about it, it's just embedded. And more specifically, this year, we feel like our next opportunities are really focused on that individual communication about individual student progress. So like things that the two-way texting supports, like those connections so that you really know how your child's doing. So I'm looking forward to tackling that, and how do we create some of those structures and systems so that's not, doesn't feel like so much, like how can we just make it easier? And that's my update, and I'm happy to take any questions.
I just have to say that I loved watching the teachers look at that wall of little things you put up, because it was in pictures, they're taking pictures of them, and I just thought it was such a smart idea for them to read them and see them and feel appreciated. I loved it.
Yeah, that's fun.
First of all, I just whispered to Tony, she's amazing. Parents have always had a voice in this district. If you had something to share, of course you always could. But to see, never before have parents been so personally invited into this process. And I am so impressed by it, because I think it's great for our district in 1,000 ways. But especially you were talking about the rollout at the high school, and like there's something about, it's great when your kids become more independent, but it's hard as a parent. You don't have quite as much idea what's going on. And so this idea of partnering between the people at home, whoever's receiving those texts, and the people at school, and helping that student succeed is just incredible. And I'm super impressed by all of it. That's all I want to say.
So I'm really thrilled at the multi-language use, because I think it creates a voice that probably isn't heard nearly enough in the community, and so I think that's fantastic. I'm curious how, I love the wall too, I concur on all that. I'm curious how, like in real time, how that message is passed on when they get the praise, or does it go through the principal or whatever? And then I'm also curious about, like, what are the themes of both the praise and the hopefully more constructive than not feedback that maybe as a follow-up I'd love to hear more about.
Yeah, I can address all of those. We're still figuring out exactly what each principal is doing. I have a bird's eye view, as does Hope, into the regular staff updates. So after every POSIP every month, For an example, Matthew Boucher does an excellent job on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He'll like dribble out 100 praise comments and share them in his staff update. So every day there'll be like 2 or 3 comments that staff are reading that came through POSIP. So that's one example. We have another principal who the night the report comes out, he reads everything, and if it names a teacher, he pulls the comment. There's an easy copy and paste feature on what the report that they get, and he sends them individual emails and he gets sweet responses back. So, those are some examples of how that happens. Like I said, with the thank you notes, that's another practice of our leadership team and our leadership approach. If you get like a comment like that, maybe you'll get an email, or maybe you'll get a handwritten card, like you got shouted out by so-and-so. So those are some of the ways the praise is shared. What was the second question?
Categories of the two sides.
Oh,
Like-
categories of the two sides, yeah. So with our partners at POSIP, they do a great job of tagging things in categories for us so we can see the themes. I think the challenge is like you'll have like 3 things. Like you've gotten like 500 responses that month, and they'll have 3, and that will be called a theme. So trying to figure out and discern what is a theme, you know? So that is something that part of our refinements as we're going forward is how do we figure that out? But every principal will take a look at the themes and communicate after. You've probably seen it in their newsletter the following week about here's what we heard this month. We heard this around praise, and here are a couple of the questions and maybe some of the concerns. And then some of them have been a little more, maybe more in depth. Yeah.
Yeah, the themes kind of shifted time of the year, and they're
I'm sure.
different by
Totally.
school, so they come
Yeah.
through, then Erica would talk to the principals and then work with them on those weekly newsletters to kind of address, we heard this from you, here's some steps we're gonna take to address that. And then sometimes, April, we didn't hear those themes again, other times that would come up again and again.
Yeah.
It's like, parent pickup drop off at one of the schools, that kind of would be a
Or
theme, that's fun.
cafeteria lines, right? That was a big one. And like, right, processes get refined, you see it kind of drop off the next month or whatever. I just have to say, it's a great tool, and I think it works because we have amazing principals who are taking it and taking it really seriously, and they've learned over 8 months now. I think the first couple of months was, oh my gosh, what have we done? And now everyone has their way that they deal with it. They read it. They all have their own way of doing it. And one of the things we are going to be doing in June is getting everyone together just to like share some of those things and kind of where we want to go next.
There was a moment where I had a few people, and even Erica, I walked into their office at the end of one day, we got the POSIP report, she looks at me and said, I hate POSIP. And then it was, no, I don't. But there was, I think,
You
back
get
to
to have
this
those
fall at the end of try 1, as we started try 2, it was really good for POSIP, that we had POSIP, because we kind of found out right at the front end, some miscommunication that had happened in some of our classrooms about kind of next steps they were taking with some grading and things. And there was even some misunderstanding among those teachers, so Matthew, Megan, Tom, they were able to turn around right away, address that with the teachers to correct that communication with their students, but then also get a communication out in the newsletter. And some of that came from POSIP right away, where I think without POSIP, it might have been 3 weeks later, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that was an example where,
Yeah.
okay, we gotta get,
Yeah.
get this right away, so.
Mostly, I think we all have a human tendency to read the feedback and forget that there's all the praise. And the way the reports are set up, and every month I'm like, you gotta go read your praise comments again.
Yeah.
Because it is, like, I don't think there's I've never in my professional career experienced another tool that helps us gather that as
Yeah.
effectively. So, comes with both.
I wanted to make one comment. I think that these tools are fantastic, but it is just a tool, right? So it has to be implemented, and we have fantastic leaders that implement it. Without that, it can't work on its own. So I appreciate all that. Thank you.
I do want to say, there was a lot of front-end work on that in both the texting tool and Jessica McKenzie, Erica, the communications team just do a great job supporting the schools and being able to implement those things well. And I just said that, I just don't want to forget that, because, I know that I met with the high school team and we were talking about tardies and attendance and what we can do different as we moved into third try to address that for that. Because the vast majority of kids, 90+% of the kids are doing really well with that. And if the kids struggling with it, what could we do? Well, it was, we were going to wait to do more of that implementation next fall, and we said we can do it. And Eric and her team were a great support in helping the high school get that up and running, really turning it around quick. And it's made a big difference for kids this spring, so.
And a few other people that we have to mention is Steve Halverson and our tech team. Those guys, getting all the data in all the right ways so that we can actually text effectively to the right people. Geraldine Domenech has spent hours setting people up and training people on talking points, and Kelly Stewart for POSIP she's an awesome thought partner and a real asset to our district.
I would just like to
Thank
say,
you. Yeah.
especially in education, as it has become more difficult and more demanding on educators in the past few years, I think this is amazing. Just to have them see their praise, especially now, I think it's amazing. I think we need to continue to do that. I think it'll be great.
I hope you guys stop by Kenneth Hall tomorrow. Check out the multi-purpose room in the wall and you'll see all the comments.
Absolutely will.
Yeah, Erica, I was just gonna say, this is, yeah, don't go anywhere. No, the percentage, 55, we're just about 55%. Is that about what was expected? Of all the rollouts that POSIP has done across the nation, is that about average?
I think that's a great question, and I do not have the answer to that. I know that we were tracking as being pretty much on track. I think districts handle it differently, like sometimes they'll choose the primary contact for the student and not if you have two. So once we understood that, we were like, oh, and then we talked to a few staff members who have kids in the district, and it was like, oh yeah, Scott never does it, but I do, because there's always one parent, right, that.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so I think.
Except the dad never does, but the mom.
Yeah.
Based on that and how we loaded the contacts, I think we're feeling really great about that number.
Yeah, no, to me, it seems like it's a really good number. I guess my last comment is, what a great way to, as Amy had mentioned, to bring parents into being involved in the district. We've always tried to push for ways to improve communication, but also improve the our engagement with parents, and this is a great way. And to know that principals and others are looking at the comments that are coming in weekly, what a great way to build trust with the parents by, they know that the comments are being read, but they're also seeing action being taken. And I think that is one of the strongest ways to build trust with our parents. So, thank you. Awesome work. Appreciate it. All right, moving on to effective operations, improve our effective management of human, financial, and physical resources. Monthly financial report for March 2024. Ms. Amy Schultz.
All right, good evening, board. This is one of several times we'll be up here tonight talking about different financial and operations items. So as usual, we have our monthly financial report. This month we are reporting on March. So we will walk through our usual 3 reports. The first one being the treasurer's report, which is our cash receipts and disbursements, as well as the beginning and ending balances for the month. So you can see we did go from about 59 million up to just under 62 million. A very typical month on the disbursement side. On the revenue side, on the receipts, we are a little bit higher than normal. March is our second largest month as far as the state metering schedule for our state aid payments. Outside of August, this is the highest one. So between that and over $500,000 of federal COVID dollars coming in, we closed out several grants where the cash was received in March as well. So that's a couple of the reasons why receipts are higher than usual. On the statement of revenues, again, this report shows our receipts for the month, and then our year-to-date, our budget, and then the percentages of our year-to-date compared to budget currently, as well as the previous 2 years. So on this, you can see that we are a little bit, on the revenue side, In the general fund, we're kind of right on. On the food service and community education side, it looks like we're a little bit behind. The previous 2 years, we did get a lot of COVID dollars in for those funds that were not originally budgeted for when we did the budget. So that's why those look a little higher than the current school year. So the same report on the expenditure side. A lot of these are right in line with where they've been the previous 2 years. General fund is in total. There's a couple line items such as supplies and capital expenditures that are a little bit lower than where they were the previous 2 years. This year we had, we've talked to the board about this already, furniture in our budget that at this point we have not purchased and will get pushed into this next school year. So it was included in our budget. It's an expense that's not in there. So that's one of those things that's driving as a percentage for the current year down compared to the previous 2 years. So that is what we have for the monthly financial report, if there are any questions.
Thank you,
All
Amy.
right, thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Moving on to superintendent's report.
Okay, wait for the report to be up. There's all kinds of exciting things happening at this time of year, so, I'll highlight that in a moment. Signs are out. Okay, first off, just our early childhood team, they were recognized, they won that Innovative Program Award for the Minnesota Association for Family and Early Education Conference. So with the outreach and screenings they've done in collaboration with a couple of neighboring school districts, the help of a shared grant. So congratulations to them for their award. Our fourth, we just have a couple pictures here because it's always fun bringing this the first time all these fourth graders are going to be together as fifth graders the next year. It's the first time they all come together for the big track and field day. So some picture there and following page. So it's a fun day for all the kids. So it's always fun. Like in the lower left picture, you can see the teacher with his students. It's always fun just to see the teachers have so much fun with the kids on that day. So. We had 63 7th and 8th grade students go to St. Cloud State University to come compete against several schools. They didn't complete against several schools, but they didn't compete. They both finished in 3rd grade as teams, so it was great to see. And then student voice. So this is, I have a superintendent student advisory group. Both of our board members here have been on that. I think the last 2 years, haven't you? Or yeah, I think it's the last 2 years. So you've both been on there. And we recently tried something new, and I shared a message with all of you as a board. We got together with West St. Paul School District, it's called Two Rivers High School, and we got together with their Peter Olson Skog, who's the dapper gentleman in the tie there in the lower picture. He has a superintendent student advisory group too, and we brought them together and kind of talking about what's going great that we need to keep in place, what can we do in the future that could look different. And it's always just, it's one of my highlights whenever I get to go over and spend time with them and hear the ideas and questions that they have. So that was a blast. Of course, our OEC program recently did very well. 18 students went to the HOSA, what's HOSA stand for again?
Healthcare Official Something of America.
Yeah, it's the
Society
of America. It's the organization
Yeah.
for future healthcare professionals. So they come together and they have the state leadership conference in St. Cloud, and that's 17 students who qualified to go to the international competition this year. So pretty impressive. So they always rock it when they go to these competitions, which is great. And then they got to demonstrate one of their scenarios that they were working through, and we had a recent VIP visit. So we had the Commissioner of Education with us on a recent Friday for a morning, come and visit some other colleagues from the Department of Education, Indeed. So they toured our career and college pathways, and it was, this was not set up for them. It just happened to be the day they were doing that scenario. So it was they were pretty blown away by what they saw, not just with the OEC program, but also in our construction trades program, and they met with Karen Coots in looking at her program with engineering and how to make almost anything. So they're just blown away, and it was kind of fun to hear. In fact, this is, I'm not sure, I'll have whoever is in back. Can you hit play on this to get a chance to hear from our Commissioner, Willie Jett? It's the next one here. Here's Willie Jett, what he shared at the end of this visit with everybody who was there. So it'd be fun for you to hear from him.
Could this be a model? It should be a model. I will recommend people to come visit this, to talk to the superintendent, to talk to the principal, to talk to students, and to talk to business people and community partners, because there's so many wonderful things happening here that benefit young people and overall will benefit the entire community. This is a model.
So it was pretty cool to hear what he had to say after spending time there, so it was pretty cool. I'll just go back so you can kind of see. So we also had legislators there, as Matt Norris in the upper left, with Commissioner Jett talking to some of our students, and I think that was the How to Make Almost Anything course that they were visiting at the time. But and then the construction trades, and of course Scott Wickland was more than happy to talk with them and share a lot about his program. So it was fun. Go over past there. We had the recent annual kind of picture that we're doing now, class of 2024. So provided a yard window sign for each member of them. So you see those throughout the community. But he's looking for himself on there.
Lower left, kind of.
Okay, oh, I found you. I can't see myself either. Oh, right there.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
So while we can move on, now that you found yourself on there. All right. Retirement reception it's always a blast. Next Tuesday, 4 to 6, we'll have a program at 5 for those of you that can make it. We'll hand out the bells that the retirees get to go with, and they ring the bell. So that's always a fun night to honor our retirees. Of course, we have some big days coming up. Academic award ceremonies tomorrow evening, the Fine Arts Center, cap and gown pickup on May 21st, and followed by the commencement ceremony on Tuesday, June 4th. So, you guys ready for this? Here you go. It's getting real, right? And that is it. So,
Thanks, Jeff.
yep.
All right. Moving on to action items. We have several resolutions and motions this evening. We'll start with resolution relating to termination and non-renewal of probationary teaching contracts. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Hennan,
Second.
second by Schmidt, to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 16 that pursuant to Minnesota Statute 122A.40, the teaching contract of the following probationary teachers in Independent School District 16 are hereby terminated at the close of 2023-2024 school year. Be it further resolved that written notice shall be sent to the following teachers regarding termination of pay and fringe benefits as provided by law. And below that lists the teachers that are impacted.
What's that? Well, yeah, so part of this
Context
is
on that,
just, we have to do annually, so there's a combination of people on here. But there's a large number of the staff, these names that you see here, that will be returning, that are, because of just licensure requirements with the state, that if they are on a tier 1 or 2 license, that we need to release them each year and then rehire them. That's just a process that we go through. So, out of all of these, there's a small number of them that really aren't being invited back, so.
Thank you. All right. Clerk, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Hannan.
Yes.
Ms. Forsberg, yes. Ms. McClellan.
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt.
Yes.
Ms. Scully.
Yes.
Mr. Valella.
Yes.
Mr. Easter.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted on a 7-0 vote.
Thank you. Moving on to the next resolution. Resolution relating to unrequested leave of absence for tenured teaching contract. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Schmidt,
Second.
second by
No.
Scully. To approve the following resolution. Now therefore be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 16 that a teacher of said district be placed on unrequested leave of absence without pay or fringe benefits, effective at the end of the 2023-2024 school year on June 30th, 2024, pursuant to Minnesota Statute 122A.40 and Article 14 of the current master agreement between the school district and the exclusive representative. Be it further resolved that written notice shall be sent to the following teachers regarding termination of pay and fringe benefits as provided by law. And we have the teachers listed below. We should have a roll call on that, right? Clerk, can you call roll?
I can. Mr. Valella?
Yep.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. McClellan?
Yes.
Mrs. Forsberg? Yes. Ms. Hannon?
Yes.
Mr. Easter?
Yes.
That is also adopted on a 7-0 vote.
Moving on to the next resolution. A resolution awarding the sale of general obligation school building refund bonds, Series 2024A. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Valella,
Second.
second by Forsberg. To adopt the resolution, the resolution is actually another attachment for us, and we have Amy Schultz to give us more detail.
Right, all I'm going to do is reintroduce Aaron Bushberger of Ellers. He was here last month doing the pre-sale report for the school board on a potential bond refunding. And so tonight, he's back to present the results of today's bid opening.
All right, thank you, Amy. Nice to see you all again. So we do have some great results to share with you tonight. So we did accept bids on the bonds this morning, and we received 15 bidders. So to put that in a little bit of context, we like to see at least 3 bidders. And so there was very strong kind of nationwide interest in your bonds. The rating on your bonds, Moody's kept your AA2 rating, so that's the 3rd highest rating you can have. And I think that really assisted in receiving the amount of interest that you did get. So the low bidder was JP Morgan out of New York, and that was at an interest rate of 2.94%. And so this resulted in just over $400,000 in savings over the course of the next 4 levy cycles. So that's about $100,000 in savings each of those 4 years. And as a reminder, those savings go directly to your taxpayers. So you can't use those funds for anything else besides savings for your taxpayers. I will mention one more thing, and again, you have this sale day report in your board packet. I'm just touching on a couple of the highlights, but just wanted to comment again, Moody's kept your AA2 rating. They noted a few strengths specific to your district, strong reserves and liquidity, a strong local economy being in the Twin Cities metropolitan area, as well as stable enrollment. And so you may be aware that not all districts have those, let alone those 3 real strengths for your school district. And so again, kudos to Amy and her staff as well. They were very well prepared for the rating call. The rating call is about 45 minutes where they ask a lot of questions and want to see a lot of information. And so kudos to Amy for being well prepared in that rating call. Again, that bond rating is like a credit score, so the higher the bond rating you have, the lower interest that you receive on those bonds. So with that, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. Any questions?
It seems like a no-brainer then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe.
Just a quick reminder in case there's somebody watching who isn't familiar with this process, that we usually kind of mention how this is similar to other things they know.
Yeah, what we like to say is, but for schools, we do bond refundings. For a personal homeowner, for your personal residence, you would do a refinance. So what this is we issued bonds several years ago. The rates were a little bit higher than they currently are. So what we're doing is basically refinancing those bonds at lower interest rates. So that does reduce, our principal stays the same, but it reduces the future interest payments that we make.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I'll just mention one more thing I forgot. So we went back and took a look. So over the course of the past 10 years, the district has done 5 refundings, including tonight, which has saved taxpayers over $13 million. So again, kudos to you and your administration for realizing that for your district taxpayers.
You said 5 times over how many years?
Since 2014, so
14,
over
10
the
years.
course of the past 10 years.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Oh, that's exciting. All right. Yep.
Oh, sorry, We're moving on.
It's okay. No, I'm just
Ignore me.
overwhelmed with that
Ignore me.
13
Yes, that
million
was awesome.
over the years. That's great for our residents. Clerk, can you call roll?
Ms. Schmidt, please.
Yes.
Ms. Skelly,
Yes.
Mr. Valella,
Absolutely.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Ms. Forsberg, yes. Ms. McClellan,
Yes.
Mr. Easter,
Yes.
that is adopted on a 7-0 vote.
Awesome. Yes, that's an easy one to vote for. Great. Moving to the next resolution. Resolution approving Northeast Metro 916 Intermediate School District Long-Term Facility Maintenance Program Budget. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Forsberg,
Second.
second by Scully, to adopt the following resolution. I won't read the whole thing, Amy. The school board, be it resolved by the School Board of School District Number 16, State of Minnesota as follows. The School Board of Northeast Metro 916 Intermediate School District has approved a long-term facility maintenance program budget for its facilities for the 2025-2026 school year in the amount of $467,100, of which School District Number 16 proportionate share is $28,387 for pay-as-you-go projects. Minnesota Statute Section 123B.595 Subdivision 3 provides that if a intermediate school district's long-term facility maintenance budget is approved by the school board of each of the intermediate school district school districts, each member district may include its proportionate share of the cost of the intermediate school district program in its long-term facility maintenance revenue application. The next paragraph goes into the formula that's actually used to make that calculation of what we would pay, so I'm not gonna read through that, it's pretty detailed. Amy could probably sum it up. Amy?
Yep, I was just gonna give the board a quick update. Each spring, what we do as a member school district, through Northeast Metro 916, they do not have a resident population, so they are not allowed to levy for their long-term facilities maintenance on their own. So what they do then is pass on that proportionate share to districts. Chair Easter mentioned our proportionate share is just over 28,000 of the 467,000, so 6.1% of the total. Really with that, tonight we're doing 916s. Next month, we will be bringing our own school districts forward as well. And so really this is just a 10-year plan that has to be submitted to the Department of Education in order to levy those dollars.
Rough ballpark on what that would cost our average taxpayer? What I'm getting at is it's a pretty low cost.
20,000 is really small. I don't
Yeah.
have the amount.
Okay, but it's quite low.
dollar. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I'd
like a
say
dollar, right,
it's very low, so.
Just for context, yeah, thanks.
This
And that's
one-
not $1 a month, that's.
That's $1
Yeah,
a
that's
year.
$1 a year.
No, I don't know offhand, I just know that 20,000.
It was more the overall context,
Yes,
that
very
it's
small.
quite low, obligation.
And that's spread across several districts, it's just not us, but there's several districts there also.
Right, the 467,000 is the total, our share is 28.
And we're one of 13 member districts.
Is that where, did I take your thunder now?
Yes.
I mean, just once again, for anybody watching, so 916, we are a member district, and the primary focus for 916 is they provide services for special education students, who are low incident, high need students, where school districts just don't have the capacity to be able to provide those services for their students on their own, because there's not enough of the kids to be able to run those programs. So you pull the kids from 13 districts together, and they have a program. In addition, they run our Metro Heights Alternative Learning Program, which we have a lot of kids attend. So we have a lot of students attending their schools and their programs, so keeping those facilities up is important to do.
Any other discussion? Clerk, would you call roll, please?
Ms. Skelly,
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. McClellan,
Yes.
Ms. Forsberg, yes. Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Mr. Valella,
Yes.
Mr. Easter.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted on a 7-0 vote.
Thank you. Moving on to approval of roofing bid. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Schmidt,
Second.
second by Villela, to approve the bid for the 2024 Park Terrace Elementary School re-roofing and spec project number 215789.1 in the amount of $1,777,535. Any discussion?
Most of mine are really quick. So for years, it seems like we were here often doing, asking for approval for bids when we had all the construction. It's been a while now, and we kind of have one or two a year. So bids for this Park Terrace re-roofing project were opened on April 23rd. At that time, 2 bids were received for that project. And so they actually, I mean, the board has the recommendation letter, they have the bid tabulation form as well to see what those results were. The recommendation is to move forward with Lake Area Roofing and Construction as the low bidder, for the dollar amount that Chair Easter mentioned at $1,777,000. This project is to re-roof almost the entire roof at Park Terrace, with the exception of the additions that were done in 2013. So basically the entire middle of the school. And so with that, a lot of our programming will be moving, that we would normally have on site, is moving to other sites due to the noise and the smell that comes with a roofing project. So that is something that will all be happening over the summer. So with that, we're asking for the board's approval of the bid.
How long do roofs last for?
Like 20 to 30 years. I mean, it's,
I don't know, so. Like, do we do this in 10 years? Do we do this, when do we do this?
well, I would say the 2013 was the addition area. We are not doing it yet. No, we should have a good 10 years left or so left on that one. Weather plays a part in it, but 25 to 30 is kind of what we shoot for.
The discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Moving on to second reading to adopt proposed policy changes. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Hennan,
Second.
second by Schmidt. To approve the adoption of the following policy with proposed changes. 506, student discipline, and 806, emergency preparedness response. Any discussion? And these are small changes that were added to match what is either in Minnesota statute or what MSBA is recommending. All right. So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. And moving on to approval of curricular study K through 12 science. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Forsberg,
Second.
second by McCollum. To approve the curricular study for 9 through 12 science as presented at the school board regular meeting on April 9th. Any discussion? Yeah. And the team did a lot of work, so I definitely want to recognize the team for.
And as we sometimes mention at these meetings, we as a board have seen a lot of information about this.
Yes.
This isn't something we're just like, oh, sure, sounds good. So,
And we could say it wasn't just one work session, it was many work sessions. But I appreciate all the energy and time and dedication to finding the right curriculum for a district.
Awesome.
All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to acknowledgement of gifts. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Scully,
Second.
second by Villela, to adopt the following resolution. Whereas School Board Policy 706 establishes guidelines for the acceptance of gifts to the district, and whereas Minnesota Statute 465.03 states that a school board may accept a gift of real or personal property by the adoption of a resolution approved by 2/3 of its members. Therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Spring Lake Park Schools acknowledges and accepts with appreciation the gifts as shown. Oh my. Wow. Any discussion? Just thank you to our community, and I have to say, I'm never disappointed in how our community supports our school district.
Can you back up and go through those again?
The long one.
The long one, I wanna see the big one. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That's for the scholarship. I think the 23,000 from the SOP Lions, I believe that's for the scholarships that they provide. They do a phenomenal job over there, yeah. Yeah, you're right, these are all scholarships, so awesome. 83,000. All right.
Keep in mind, these-
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, to see that these are scholarships is absolutely amazing. You know, of course, you have a scholarship award ceremony tomorrow, so just to see this makes me feel very honored as a student that I really close to. I think this is amazing representation of how our community cares for our students.
Thank you, Evan. Yeah. Awesome. All right, clerk, can you call roll?
Ms. Forsberg, yes. Ms. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. McClellan?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Falella?
Yes.
Mr. Easter?
Yes.
The resolution is adopted on a 7-0 vote.
All right, thank you. Quickly, before we jump into the board, foreman reports, I do want to jump back to the refunding of bonds, because I didn't say the amount. The original aggregate principal amount is $16,215,000. So I do want to put that on record. All right, let's jump to, board foreman reports. We'll start on this side.
Thanks. I went to the North Point PTO meeting this past, I guess it was on the 6th, longer ago than I was thinking. Anyway, went to that meeting and that was their last meeting of the year, so they were talking about some changes for next year. And then their spring carnival is tomorrow night, so if anybody, Friday night, 17th. So if anybody's looking for something fun to do in the community, it's always a great time at the North Point Carnival, so that's it.
Any other reports? Any updates?
I went to the Lighthouse PTO meeting in April. It happened to be the day after the exciting event that had happened on Wednesday that evacuated the high school. And so there was some feedback around the Lighthouse experience in that process and protocols. But they were all very, good feedback for hopefully never next time. And and that we will never have to use those protocols again. And then they also had just had a movie night that they were kind of reviewing and talking about for their big activity, so.
Sure, this side. I haven't forgotten about the student reps, don't worry.
Are you doing students first?
We'll go, no, go ahead.
Okay. I went to a Region 11, 7-county metro area of Help Me Grow, and I'm the school board rep with about 25 special ed practitioners, preschool people. And the purpose of that whole committee is to find children with special ed needs in the preschool, preschool, low-service communities of the 7-county metro area. It is funded federally at about close to $500,000, which the money flows through MDE. And so, lots of interesting conversations about children, and that money is used. There's one full-time staff, 2 part-timers, a lot of podcasts and media, and some printed materials that's put in doctor's offices and various places where people go, even I think some food shelves. So, but it's a way of finding kids who should be serviced prior to their entering school. So, quite interesting. 9/16, I went to a committee meeting on the superintendent's contract. The May meeting was very interesting because we had a special retiree. His name is Steve, and he was there. I can't really say in person because he's a Great Pyrenees. And he's been a certified therapy dog for 5 years. And his human mother has been a school psychologist there for 15 years. But it was fun to have Steve be present.
What a name for a dog. Sorry, it's just hilarious.
He's beautiful. He's a great big fella, but very gentle. And he was very happy to have everybody pet him. We also had a special report from the principal at Metro Heights and telling some things that they're doing and that they will have approximately 100 graduates this year. A little conversation at 9:16 about insurance, which seems to be a problem almost every place I go. And I went to the Beauty and the Beast, and it was wonderful. Just absolutely a great show, which I enjoyed very much.
Thanks.
I'm gonna wait till they're done.
Oh, okay. We'll go to our
We
student
kind of have
reps.
overlap.
Harper and Evan.
Yeah.
All let's talk about numbers. I'm sorry to my father when I doubted him when he said it's all about taxes and the economy. Anyways, on the students,
Right, yeah.
on the other side, we have 2 bowlers who played strong in their section meetings for the adaptive bowling team. Their names are Natalie Quintero and Alex Simpson.
May 1st was our national signing day for D3 and then anyone who hadn't signed previously, and we had 17 people who signed letters of intent.
And then, of course, AP season, which is the first 2 weeks in May, where kids take our AP tests. Very stressful week. No one likes it. But we are coming near the end. Friday marks the last test. So, yeah, good luck to everyone who will be taking a test this week.
Our speech awards are next Friday.
And then, of course, HOSA will be having their international meeting in Texas in June. And we have 9 contenders who will, in fact, be attending. We did have 17 who qualified.
The spring musical wrapped up for Beauty and the Beast, as Marilyn mentioned.
Spring concerts for choir and band are also coming up.
Student Council is planning to announce our new officers this week, so president, vice president, treasurer, PR secretary, and secretary.
And then, of course, as was previously stated, we had our senior yard signs that were given out by the Panther Foundation, so thank you to them for that.
Our decision day was pushed to May 23rd, so next week.
And then also, of course, we have the senior award ceremony that will be happening tomorrow.
And then graduation is June 4th. 3 weeks.
From today.
Right.
I think it's close to 500.
Yeah, I think it's like 45.
I have a question. When you say decision day was pushed to May 23rd,
Yeah.
as in like make your decision about your college day?
Yeah,
Yes.
because it's normally May 1st, but a
Right.
lot of schools pushed it to like May 15th or 16th because of everything that happened with FAFSA.
Oh.
And
right.
so
Gotcha.
our
That's
school
right.
pushed it to the 23rd. to be
Makes sense.
extra
No.
safe.
Yep, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Thank you. It's
Yeah.
like, when you said that, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
new.
I forgot about the whole FAFSA thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been crazy this year.
Thanks for the update.
Yeah. And then our final thing was Olivia Keste, who's a senior. She painted a portrait kind of Braden Ripken. There was a photo taken of him when he won the 50 free competition at the 2022 state competition for swimming. And she painted a photo of it for the athletics department. That was announced today. Mhm.
But I don't know. I'm sure she does. I love you guys. You guys have been so great this year. Like, I have appreciated our reps. You guys are so energetic, and I just can't wait for what you have to say. So I'll miss you. And we'll miss
you.
You guys done a great job.
He'll be at the next regular.
I know, but still, I just had to say, they got me smiling tonight. I'm like, I love these guys. They're great. So.
Awesome. Any other updates from the members? All right, should we move to adjourn? All right. Can I get a motion? So moved by Schmidt,
Second.
second by Scully, to adjourn our meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, meeting is adjourned at 8 o'clock. Excellent job, everyone.